Hello, welcome to CoreTV News. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the reports we're filing at this time. A trouble broke out on the floor of the Nigeria House of Assembly in its final sitting for the week when lawmakers engaged in a show of shame. This was because some members of the All Progressive Congress were not happy with the perceived attempts to overrule the party on leadership positions in the House. Our correspondent Basi Aye reports that the lawmakers were clearly engaged in fisticuffs.
Activities in the House of Representatives got stalled on Thursday when lawmakers reduced plenary to a free-for-all brawl. Trouble started almost as soon as Speaker Dagora sought to dissolve the House into an executive session. The action did not go down well with a number of members of the All Progressives Congress. The scenario that ensued is one that is sight for sore eyes. The mace, which is the symbol of authority, had to be smuggled out when it came under threat, as lawmakers, having broken into factions, also filled the Green Chamber with various chants. Sanity was restored 2 hours later and the mace returned to the floor of the House. In the end, Speaker Dagora was able to address his colleagues, cautioning them on the embarrassing situation.
To be candid, we have promised so much in the course of our elections, and even the very party I belong to, the APC, we have promised change. And Nigerians expect us to really talk about those matters, those issues that bother them most. They want to hear us talk about unemployment, about poverty in my region. They want us to address insecurity. And as long as this House is divided and not united, we cannot achieve that. We have been down this perilous road before. So I plead of us, honorable members, as leaders, all hands must be on the deck to enable us achieve the desired unity that we need in order to move this House forward. That is the responsibility we owe. And as to the issues that led to the chaos today, we will sit down as leaders across whatever divide we have to ensure that these matters are as quickly as possible resolved.
Immediately after adjournment to July 21, the APC and PDP caucuses were quick to react.
We shall persevere, come rain, come shine. We, the loyal and disciplined majority APP caucus in the House of Representatives and the All Progressives, I just say APC, and the All Progressives Congress have dished out enough of the carrots. It's time to crack the whip so as to ensure party discipline and maintain order.
I will also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the APC group that they must have respect for the rule of law in their actions. No matter how any scenario or situation is, they must be prepared to abide by due process, respect for the rule of law, with emphasis on transparency.
For now, the tension appears to have died down, but the leadership tussle is still far from being resolved. Basi Aye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, a group of federal lawmakers elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress want Speaker Yakubu Dogara to respect party supremacy. Speaking at a press conference, the loyalist group maintained that the task of appointing principal officers rests with the party leaders. The members said the Eastern Day APC South caucus members on the House resolved to allow the will of the party stand.
Cannot, under extant laws and House rules, appoint, choose, select, or even provide guidance on how party principal officers emerge or are elected or selected. That is the responsibility and authority that lies with each party and party caucus members in the House. If I may ask, is Speaker Yakubu Dogara empowered to do the same for the PDP caucus in the House? We shall persevere, come rain, come shine. We, the loyal and disciplined majority APP caucus in the House of Representatives, and the All Progressives, I just say APC, and the All Progressives Congress have dished out enough of the carrots. It's time to crack the whip so as to ensure party discipline and maintain order. Dare I say, we rode to power on the platform of the APC. The party is supreme, and thus no one is above the party.
The little storm in the cup, in the teacup, in our family, that is the loyalist caucus of the APC in the House of Representatives has been resolved. You will recall that a few days ago, the South-South caucus addressed the press about some misgiving. And in the true spirit of a disciplined party, the caucus met last night and resolved this matter amicably with the commendable and gracious statesmanship displayed by Right Honorable M.T. Monguno.
In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party caucus in the House of Representatives has condemned the uproar that disrupted the plenary on Thursday. Addressing journalists, Chairman of the caucus, Leo Ogo, blamed members of the ruling party for what he described as an unacceptable behavior. The PDP lawmaker has also called on leaders of the All Progressive Congress to find a better approach towards solving the ongoing leadership tussle in the National Assembly.
We are starting on a very, very wrong footing, coupled with the fact that the crisis creator in this scenario are the leading or probably the ruling party. Let me say the ruling party, not probably. I sincerely, on behalf of my colleagues, want to apologize to the Nigerian people. We also want to apologize to our constituents because we know definitely that you gave us a clear opportunity to represent you. This is not what we intend doing. Neither is this type of representation. It's what we intend giving in the Green Chamber. I will also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the APC group that they must have respect for the rule of law in their actions. No matter how any scenario or situation is, they must be prepared to abide by due process, respect for the rule of law, with emphasis on transparency.
The People's Democratic Party has also described the fracas in the House of Representatives as a show of shame and national embarrassment. It also argued that it raises questions on the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari and the All Progressives Congress to democracy, unity, and the stability of the country. PDP spokesman Olisa Metu said in a statement that the action was a direct consequence of what he insists is President Buhari's lack of democratic credentials to respect the independence and sanctity of the legislative arm of government. He notes what Nigerians witnessed in the House on Thursday shows that APC has now imported its internal extraditions into an independent arm of government as a way to further cover its lack of ideas for governance. The Senate has formally announced Ali Ndume as majority leader, contrary to the position of the ruling All Progressive Congress, which wanted Ahmed Lawan. Senate President Bukola Saraki also named Bala Ibn Nala as deputy leader and Francis Alikimena as deputy chief whip. He explained at plenary what the decision was taken by the various caucuses to which the principal positions were zoned.
At 3 o'clock in the hearing room 301, the members of the proposed committees are Senator Ali Ndume, Senator Ahmed Sani Rima, Senator Shaba Lafiaji, Senator Sonny Oji Boji, Senator James Manager, Senator Gwenga Shafa, Senator Shehu Sani, Senator Dino Malaya, and Senator Ben Murray Bruce. Please, other senators are invited to be at the swearing. From the Northwest APC caucus, to me nominating for the position of Deputy Majority Leader, Senator Bala Nala, in line with these standing rules. Received a letter from the APC Northeast caucus nominating Senator Ali Ndume as the position of the majority leader in line with the standing rules.
Meanwhile, Senate President Bukola Saraki has inaugurated a 10-member ad hoc committee to take a look at the Senate finances with the view to coming up with the best cost-effective measure. He also inaugurated a committee to put together a legislative agenda to guide the operations of the 8th Assembly. The Senate committee, which is headed by Senator James Manager, would, according to Saraki, look at the best strategy to align with the current administration's efforts to reduce costs of governance. The 18-member Legislative Agenda Committee is headed by Senate Leader Ali Ndume. The civil rights activists have expressed concern over what they describe as self-centered concerned struggle for leadership positions in the National Assembly and some state houses of assembly. The Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center said at a news conference in Abuja that the crisis in the legislature is capable of having an adverse effect on the ability of President Muhammadu Buhari to deliver on his campaign promises. The group advised the leadership of the All Progressives Congress to work with the new leaders of the two chambers, while also urging the leaders to reach out to the aggrieved party members.
We call on the elected members to reach out to the aggrieved legislators and maintain peace with their party to avert conflict between private interests and official duties and uphold effective functionality of the presidency in the best interests of the nation. Number 5, we urge the APC to realize that Nigerians are not interested in who are the legislative leaders, but what can the party do to ensure that legislature works hand in hand with the presidency to deliver their campaign promises of providing responsible governance that is prudent and corruption-free. Number 6, we urge the elected and the appointed principal officers in the National Assembly on constructive dialogue and reconciliation with the aggrieved and other political party opposition members and collaboratively exercise their fundamental mandate, that is lawmaking, oversight, representation in the interests of peace, harmony, and democracy of the nation.
The All Progressive Congress has condemned in strong terms what transpired at both chambers of the National Assembly on Thursday, June 25, 2015. In a statement issued by its National Secretary, Mai Malabuni, the party says it stand by the lead sent by the party to the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The party added that its National Caucus, both BOT and NEC of the party, will meet within the next few days to discuss the evolving developments in the National Assembly. You're still watching the CoreTV News Hour. We'll take a break now. We're back with more stories after this time out. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
This is CoreTV News that are live from our Lagos studios. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, the news. A Benin City in Edo State-based group Kawas Parliament has called for a reduction in the allowances and pay of members of the National Assembly. The group's spokesman, Kola Edopai, says the legislators' pay should be tied to the monthly minimum wage of workers.
We shall always fight for our rights.
Kola Edopai, while speaking at the press briefing by his group, demanded a change of attitude towards governance in the country. He added that Nigeria suffered so many deprivation, with many now living as virtual destitutes, loitering around and students suffering without teachers and schools, among others. He said the urban fleecing of the nation's collective wealth by politicians in the National Assembly cannot continue, adding that democracy requires moral probity on the part of politicians.
Comrade Adams Aliyu Eriko Shomole should consolidate on the electoral promise of President Muhammadu Buhari of providing 1 million jobs for the people by reconsidering his unilateral and anti-people decision of sending over 10,000 Edo years workers back to the streets by calling them back to work.
He called on Edo State Governor to approve the financial autonomy of judicial workers of the state and equally pay local government salaries running into several months.
From here, the hottest place in air are reserved for those whom in the period of moral crisis maintain their neutrality. Our life begin to end, they will become silent about things that matters. To this end, we demand as follows. 1, that the legislators should be placed on minimum wage like the civil servants, as politics is not to enrich oneself at the detriment of the people, but to serve the people as the masters.
He, however, says his group and all the like-minded ones will continue to work to ensure that the change Nigerians voted for is realized starting from the National Assembly.
Now, the Center for Human Rights and Social Justice in Osun State has called on the State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Aregbesola and his deputy Titilaoye Tomori over the inability of the government to pay workers' salary for 8 months. The group held a protest in Osogbo to support a 7th judge of the State High Court, Oluyede Folahami, who sent a letter to the State House of Assembly asking for the commencement of impeachment process against the governor and his deputy. Our correspondent Rashid tells us more.
Marching to the State House of Assembly in protest, the leader of the human rights group, while speaking to newsmen in Osogbo, says Aregbesola and Titilaoye Tomori lacked both moral and constitutional justification to continue in office.
Aregbesola personally changed the name of the Osun State, which is contrary to the Section 3, First Schedule, Part 1 of the 1999 Constitution, because there's no any law that can gargantua that the apex law of the Federation, any law that want to gargantua than the apex law of the Federation, is a draconian law. Aregbesola used the draconian law to rule the Osun State. He just want to create another state within the state under the control of the Federation, which is contrary to the law of the Osun State money to buy an helicopter without the knowledge of House of Assembly members, without the consent of the Osun State people. He used it for his own personal use, which is violation of the state law and the federal law.
The group says it is in support of the position of Justice Folahami, calling on the Assembly to investigate the alleged mismanagement of the state's financial resources leveled against Governor Aregbesol's administration by the jurist.
normally we came to this place in order to tender our letter for the House of Assembly, most especially the Speaker, to make sure to deliver it for the members of House, in order to make a process of impeachment for the state governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Raufu Adesoji Aregbesola, which have read it to the member that they sent to us from the House of Assembly, that the state of Osun State governors, Ogbeni Raufu Adesoji Aregbesola, had been violated a lot of law of the Federation, including the state law and the criminal code of the Federation too. That is why we make a move that we must submit a letter for the House of Assembly members to make a process for the impeachment, because Aregbesola of Adesoji deserve the immediate.
The Speaker of the State House, Najim Salam, was not available to receive the protesters, but the Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Adeyemi Taiwo, acknowledged the receipt of their petition and that of the Justice.
Non-payment of the salary is the basic. The rest has to be discussed within the House. But the basic is non-payment of the salary, which by the special grace of God, we are looking to read critically, and it shall be a thing of the past very soon. I cannot say anything about that. That letter, everything has contained. The letter contained everything, and it's been taken to Mr. Speaker. So when he received the letter, we shall deliberate on it and see how it goes.
Osun citizens now await the next action of the State House of Assembly on the commencement of the impeachment proceeding, or sweep the letters under the carpet. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
Now, with the World Drug Free Day just around the corner, which is today, a group, Nigeria Youth Aid Program, has put together a press briefing to sensitize the youth on the fight against drug trafficking in Nigeria in commemoration of the 2015 International Day Against Illicit Trafficking in Drugs. Our correspondent Olajumoke Olatuji has more.
June 26 is an important day set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to help in creating awareness for a society free of illegal drugs and drug abuse. The date raises awareness of two important world issues, World Drug Day and the Blue Hearts Campaign Against Human Trafficking. Established in 1987, the day is now in its 27th year. Each year, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime selects a day for the day. This year is centered around Let's Develop Our Lives, Communities, Identities Without Drugs. The Niger Youth and Program advocated for a radical departure from the current state of affairs, where Nigeria placed at the 8th country with the highest rate of consumption of cannabis, urging the federal government and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to improve on the fight against drug abuse.
However, so much more still needs to be done, because presently, Nigeria is the 8th consumer of cannabis, with the highest consumption coming from the northwest and the southwest zones of our country. This is, of course, not a cheering news for any developing country that has its population consisting of about 70% youth. We call on all stakeholders, parents, community leaders, religious leaders, the state and federal government, civil society organizations, and international development partners in Nigeria to give this social dilemma the attention it surely deserved. For a few years from now, the society might be battling with the overwhelming impact of various negative socio-economic issues associated with drug abuse, which include but not limited to increased drug-addicted youth, increased drug-addicted youth populations, pressure on health facilities, public safety, crime, and low productivity as a result of job loss.
A psychologist, Nathaniel Ayer, admonishes parents to ensure proper management of their children to prevent exposure to drug abuse.
Mental health is an important issue to every family and to everyone in the society right now. That we need the support of everyone to see that they are in this advocacy team. Personal ability, potentials begin from our childhood, and that is where the challenge comes from, and that is where we can talk about the risk factors which influences the development of our children. the socio-economic factor, the environment, the peer pressures, and most importantly, ignorance.
The gathering further stressed the importance of a concerted drug demand reduction plan and for more to be done by the federal government. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Well, then that's a wrap on CoreTV News at this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.